You were 18 for 63, shooting 29% before January 20th. Yeah. And then that week, you had a couple sessions with Tommy. And what happened?
Yeah, I think we had 2 sessions. He was literally just not showing me how to shoot a basketball, but teaching me about my own body and how I shoot. Nothing had to do with form. Nothing had to do with, the way I was shooting the ball. It was just like little mental cues. It wasn't how to shoot the ball, but it was very much more little mental cues and him just teaching me about how my body moves and just made it unbelievably simple to shoot.
What happened after that?
I shot pretty well.
Yeah, the exact numbers are you went to 44%, improved by 15%.
And some of the shots, more on the breakdown side of, what Tommy and I would go over. Mm-hmm. That was the more impressive part of just like who was on the floor when the shots were, who I was shooting over or who was closing out. I think like Donovan Clingan would be on that list. So it wasn't just the fact that I was making shots, but it was the fact that I could get shots off against guys that are 7 feet, guys that are quicker closing out to you, and then just the consistency that I felt with my jump shot.
Was it something where you felt your confidence improving? Was it mechanical?
Yeah, well, it was once he taught me how I should shoot the ball in a way that's beneficial for me, that I don't really have to think about, that my body will just kind of do by itself. Once I did that, I repped it out a little bit outside of my sessions with Tommy, and my confidence just grew because I just wasn't missing much outside of game or outside of practice.
Mm-hmm. And then you finished out the season, went great. And what happened next in just your career?
So after that, worked with Tommy before I had to go to the Portsmouth Invitational out in Virginia. And I worked with Tommy in a different way. We worked a little bit with ball in hand, and we worked on shooting as well, but more ball in hand, becoming a little bit more of a playmaker, a scorer. And went out to Portsmouth and had a really good showing. A lot of that was because of Tommy. We implemented, I think, like 3 or 4 movements or moves that you would call it. And they would all have counters off of them. But a lot of it would just be reading the defense and not as much choreographed moves. It wasn't as much tween cross. It was more like, gallop steps, narrow to wides, and, attacking that way and reading the defender and using my deception and using, ball height, shoulder height, and just using the right angles. And then tying that all together with the mechanics that we had gone over shooting and little cues for me, I was able to not just get by guys, but stop and shoot and have the confidence to stop and shoot and be like, yeah, that was a good shot. That was really, really big. And that's how Tommy and I worked in a different way.
So you're telling me you only had like a couple sessions just focused on those principles and you started utilizing them in game?
Yeah, to this day, I think I have less than 20 sessions with Tommy. And I have gone from a guy that was not quote, not a shooter, labeled not a shooter, to now I'm a hot guy in some of the games that I play. So yeah, less than 20 sessions. And not like in a season either. We're talking about season. We're talking about injury, a drastic injury, and then another mini season, and then another, I guess you could call it 10-game sample size. So it's like, it's not like it was just like this month, next month, and then all of a sudden I could shoot. No, like we had maybe 10 sessions, and then I could shoot from then on. And it's been years that I've just been working on whatever it is that we need to work on and still can shoot at that same level.